Ah, the big one. An aerodynamics hypercoaster built all the way back in 1994. However, after over 30 years in operation, it's getting old, rough, and it's one of those things that you think is big until you actually start riding it.
Behave.
But this got me thinking, so I came up with the idea, what if the big one was built today? What if it wasn't a big pile of metal, and it was one of the best rides in the entire world? So in Planet Coaster 2, that's what I'll be building today. However, before we begin, I'd like to ask you, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, because this was an absolute pain in the ass to make. Anyway, let's begin. Okay, so I've made a rough layout of the big one. I think it's relatively accurate, but we need to replace it with a much better ride. And I think I'll go with a Mack Hypercoaster. I mean, if the UK's new tallest roller coaster is a Mack Hyper, why can't this one be too? Also, since you can't overlay stations in Planet Coaster, I'll do the beginning later. But for now, let's just focus on the lift hill. Right, so when building the first drop, I'd like to take inspiration from DC Rivals Hypercoaster at Warner Bros. I think it's Movie World in Australia, because it's quite a similar drop to the big ones, except this one is vertical. Right, let's test out the first drop, and, oh well, I can smooth that later. Okay, so here you can see I'm trying to build a non-inverting loop, once again a bit like DC Rivals Hypercoaster, but the problem in real life with this is I think it might just destroy Infusion, which honestly I'm not complaining about, but yeah, it's not very practical. Also, if you're wondering why my voice sounds so weird, it's because I have a cold at the moment, so don't judge me. Right, so I'm building an airtime hill here, but the problem with the next bit is that, you know, in the actual park, it would destroy a few things. I mean, if they actually had a dive loop there, then it would destroy Noah's Ark, the front entrance, I think a bit of the Grand National, and yeah, I don't think this is very good for space, but oh well. If the image quality is quite bad, that's probably because these clips of the Planet Coaster gameplay have probably been imported and exported to CapCut about 70,000 times. The really weird zero-G roll that I just built was sort of inspired by the Creamer roll on Hyperia. Just, you know, this one sort of smacks into the pavement. So yeah, I think this ride would have destroyed the front entrance, Noah's Ark, Grand National Station, Infusion, the Weird Zen Gardens, parts of Nickelodeon Streak, the tunnel. I think that's just pretty much useless because you just smack your head on the airtime hill, and probably something else. And after I finally finished the station, I started to build the weird outer bank turn that's on Hyperia, just to give it a final middle finger, because this is now the UK's best hypercoaster. So anyway, let's watch the POV. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll put this on the Steam Workshop, or the Planet Coaster Workshop, or whatever it is now. Would you ride this?